Hey there. Today I'd like to talk about a weapon mod that may have flown under your radar if you've been busy deep in the mines, as they say. Real quick, we're going to go over exactly what it does and why you should 100% try it out because it's actually quite effective. The mod is called Temporal Blast, and it is a volatile weapon mod, meaning it can only be applied to weapons of the latest release, aka all the new weapons that were introduced alongside the launch of the Edge of Fate, and the mod itself will expire at the end of the current season. In short, you have from now until the launch of Renegades in December to take advantage of the mod. The description reads, this weapon stores an improved portion of its damage dealt into charges. At 5 charges, the weapon's next shot creates an explosive blast on impact that damages nearby combatants. My translation: Step 1, deal damage with gun to build up stacks. Step 2, keep going until you reach maximum stacks. Step 3, deal damage with the weapon again, and bam, get a big tick of free extra damage. Thanks, Temporal Blast. In short, what we have here is a weapon mod that allows you to periodically deal extra damage, quite literally for free. It's another case of the game giving you a big fat damage reward for playing no differently than you normally would, and you know what? We take those. But here's the only tricky thing. The time it takes to build up to max stacks, it depends on the gun. Some weapons take a little bit, which is okay, while others build up stacks laughably quickly. More on the latter in just a minute. But for now, a demonstration. The Phonutria Ferra, one of the new shoddy hand cannon hybrids and weapon I love to say, is relatively slow compared to the other guns at building up stacks. Shooting at Carl in the firing range, it will take you 6 full shots in the body to build up to max charge, or only 5 if you're hitting him only in the head. That would be something to take note of, by the way. Always try to hit shots in the head in general to build up charges of temporal quicker. Here's another demo. The Yeartide Apex SMG takes 10 body shots or 6 headshots to build up 1 charge. Meaning if I'm hitting Carl with all body shots, it's going to take a full mag before Temporal Blast is ready to unleash. So yeah, obviously try to go for headshots. The good news though is that when the Temporal Blast comes out on the Yeartide, it deals 579 damage in one go. Considering that 1 body shot with the SMG does 16 damage and 1 headshot does 30 damage, 579 damage for free is not bad. How about we take a look at a special weapon? The Festival Flight Grenade Launcher is our latest area denial frame launcher, and if you hit Carl with 1 shot, the grand total damage comes to 1,200. Not bad. What's really nice though is that because Festival Flight deals a whole bunch of damage ticks in one go, if you add the Temporal Blast weapon mod to it, you can build up an entire charge of Temporal Blast in just 1 shot. By the time your final damage ticks kind of peter out, check it out right here, your Temporal Blast is ready to go for the very next shot. Now when you hit Carl, you get a huge free damage explosion, and our shot that formerly did 1,200 damage has now done 2,165 damage. Goddamn. And even though we just dealt damage with Temporal Blast at the beginning of the shot, we're still building up charges for our next Temporal Blast on the same shot. Basically, aside from our first shot, we can build up full Temporal Blast again with each following shot and get the free damage blast all in one go, provided you hit all your damage ticks, of course. I think my favorite weapon that can take advantage of this mod, though, is the one and only Mint Retrograde. Already one of my favorite new weapons in the Edge of Fate, but yeah, Temporal Blast makes it even more awesomer. That's a word, trust me, I went to college. Anyway, with the Mint, the Temporal Blast isn't as strong as it is on other weapons. The blast itself deals 426 damage. That's less than what we got out of Phonutria, the Yeartide, and the Festival Flight. But the beauty of Temporal on the Mint is how frequently you can get the mod to proc. If you shoot Carl in the body with 1 full burst, Temporal is now fully ready to go for your very next burst. However, if we shoot Carl in the head, it ramps up so fast that the Temporal Blast activates during the burst, meaning that if you just aim for the head with Mint Retrograde, you can get Temporal Blast to activate literally every time you pull the trigger. Reminder that if we hit Carl fully in the head normally with Mint, it is a grand total of 1,209 damage. With the Temporal mod thrown on, that gets kicked up to 1,635 damage per burst, meaning we're getting 35% extra damage literally for free every time we fire the weapon at Carl. And if you think that's wild, I haven't even mentioned the best part. The damage that you deal with Temporal Blast is tied to damage perks on your weapon. Here's an example. My Mint Retrograde has Bait and Switch. Remember earlier I mentioned the Temporal Burst on Mint did 426 damage? Well, when we activate Bait and Switch, now the Temporal Blast number goes up to 554. It got buffed by 30% by Bait and Switch along with the rest of Mint's damage output. I've only fiddled with this mod for a short while, but as you can imagine, it opens up a lot of possibilities. You probably get the gist by now, so I'll just go over one more weapon. How about a power weapon? The Outrageous Fortune. Managed to get a pretty okay roll, so I decided to try it out. On the Fortune, it takes 2 shots to charge up Temporal, meaning on the 3rd shot you can get it to activate, and it packs a wallop, 1024 damage. And because it's a rapid-fire grenade launcher, this can proc pretty damn rapidly. As you can imagine, Envious Arsenal, Bait and Switch, Spike Grenades, and Temporal Blast? Yeah, pretty respectable damage output. In the Edge of Fate, we're kind of in weird new territory with some of these brand new weapon mods. Not too long ago, it was kind of the case that you would just slap on backup mag to basically most of your PvE weapons without too much thought. But yeah, things are a little bit different now. I would recommend you go give Temporal Blast a try. It is very awesome. By the way, on Friday this week, I'll be streaming on Twitch along with my good friend Bife and Brian Villalobos, aka the voice of Lodi from The Edge of Fate, who we will be taking through the Final Shape campaign. Come swing by and say hi. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.